On this channel, we have answered many questions sent by our subscribers. Yet after every question that we answered, more pop up due to the complexity of the Matrix. Questions like, was it because of Niobe that the architect upgraded the agents? Why Morpheus make these strange hand signs?
This is the construct.
And do the architect and the Oracle have other avatars within the Matrix? Well, let's find out the answers. Welcome to Matrix Explained.
Welcome to the desert of the real.
Today's first question comes from Kerflap. Did Niobe defeating the agent on the plane cause the upgrades they received in the sequel?
Upgrades.
The agent who Niobe fights throughout Enter the Matrix was Agent Johnson. He was an upgrade agent. The previous agents, Brown and Jones, were replaced or upgraded when they became afraid of Neo after seeing him destroy Agent Smith and transformed into the Integral Anomaly. These new agents were faster and stronger than Brown and Jones, which means that Niobe was able to survive against agents much more powerful than the ones Neo faced in the first movie. During the filming of Matrix Reloaded and Revolutions, the production also worked on Enter the Matrix, a video game containing nearly an hour of exclusive scenes directly connected to the plot of the sequels. The video game's plot takes place before and during the sequels. So it's not 3 Matrix movies, but 4. 5 if you include the Animatrix. Only that one of them is interactive. This interactive movie, Enter the Matrix, is canon. Niobe fights Agent Johnson multiple times throughout the video game. For the next few weeks, every Wednesday we will be uploading our playthrough of Enter the Matrix episodically to learn more about the events that occur with the other red pills during the story of the sequels. Interestingly, Niobe did manage to survive multiple encounters with an upgrade agent. Morpheus did say that no one who has ever faced an agent has survived.
I won't lie to you, Neo. Every single man or woman who has stood their ground, everyone who has fought an agent has died.
So who would win in a fight between Niobe and Trinity? Fascinating topic for a future video. Our next question comes from Paul Pregene. Could the Merovingian and Persephone be avatars of the Oracle and the Architect? The philosophies of these 4 characters are so different that they make this theory impossible. On one hand, you have the Oracle who believes in choice. She believed that the Matrix cycle could be broken and that everything can change for the better. Persephone is an emotional vampire who needs others to experience emotions. Although she has a slight understanding of what love is, she appears to have no agency or individuality beyond serving the Merovingian for whatever purpose. She betrayed the Merovingian, but nothing changed. Persephone could not be an avatar of the Oracle because the Oracle surpasses her when it comes to strategy and manipulation. The Oracle could not be the Merovingian either because he believes in a completely different philosophy. The Merovingian believes in cause and effect. Every action leads to a reaction.
You see, there is only one constant. One universal, it is the only real truth. Causality. Action, reaction, cause and effect.
The Oracle does believe somewhat in cause and effect, as choices can change anything. She doesn't believe, however, that everything is predetermined. Now the Architect is logical and calculative. He is the creator. He does not follow cause and effect or actions and reactions. He creates them. The Architect does not need other avatars to enter the Matrix. We saw him gingerly walking inside the simulation. In previous videos, we have talked about how the Merovingian could be a kind of oracle from a previous simulation, and the Train Man was an architect from a past simulation, given that he created Mobile Ave. But the thought that the Merovingian and Persephone are the equivalents of the Architect and the Oracle is intriguing. Maybe they were in a beta matrix. That would explain why the Architect has not been able to delete the Merovingian, since the Frenchman knows how to protect himself because he once was the creator of the simulation. Anyway, we do not believe that the Oracle and the Architect use other shells or avatars in the Matrix beyond the ones we have seen them use. And our last question comes from Systemic Anomaly. Please explain why Morpheus in the construct scene is doing the sign, as above so below, like bafflement or George Washington's statue. Have you ever heard the phrase, as above so below before? No? Well, let me enlighten you. Based on the information we found, among historians of philosophy and science, the verse is often understood as a reference to the supposed effects of celestial mechanics upon terrestrial events. This would include the effects of the sun upon the changes of seasons, or those of the moon upon the tides, but also more elaborate astrological effects. In the Kabbalion, there is a definition of what this symbol is. It is known as the principle of correspondence. As above, so below. As below, so above. This principle embodies the truth that there is always a correspondence between the laws and phenomenon of the various planes of being and life. The old Hermetic axiom ran in these words: as above, so below; as below, so above. This principle is of universal application and manifestation on the various planes of material, mental, and spiritual universe. It is a universal law. Just as a knowledge of the principle of geometry enables man to measure distant suns and their movements while seated in his observatory, so a knowledge of the principle of correspondence enables man to reason intelligently from the known to the unknown. For some, this symbolism means that what happens in our world affects the spiritual world, and what happens in the spirit world affects the real world. In the case of the Matrix, Morpheus is making this gesture because there are two existential planes, the real world and the Matrix. What happens in the Matrix affects the real world, and vice versa. Everything is connected. This duality also applies to the cast of characters of the Matrix. However, in this context, it refers more to the fact that the worlds are connected, the real world and the Matrix. Leave in the comments below what other questions you would like us to answer. For Matrix Explained, please leave a like and subscribe, and thank you for visiting the Desert of the Real.